Welcome to episode 40 of our Football Manager 2020 YouTube series. This is AFC Fylde, Still We Rise. There's been a couple of updates since the last time you were here with us, which was the 1-0 win against Oldham, and then we had our female football special on Friday. The first one is that we've played one game since last you were here. That was Desmond, a 2-2 draw against Crawley. Now, I did try and record this one, but it didn't go well, which is a shame because there were some absolutely fantastic goals that we will just have a quick look at because they are worth the price of admission. The first coming from Horton, long range effort, fantastic, but we were pegged back immediately by Ugbo for Crawley, header there just outside of the 6-yard box. Into the second half, late on, and it was a long range effort by Benson, but matched by Tom Walker with just a few minutes to spare. A 2-2 draw, which kept us in contention at the top of the league because of results elsewhere, basically. Bolton could only themselves achieve a draw. They drew with Walsall, 0-0. Walsall also being up in the playoff places. Bradford City got their win, but obviously Crawley only drew, and Leyton Orient did pick up a win, so it has all kind of condensed a little bit at the top of the league. We remain 2 points shy of the Wanderers, but we do have one game in hand. At the other end of the table, Barnet are now bottom, just 10 points to their name. They picked up yet another loss, this time to Stevenage in the last game in October. We've now hit November, and there have been a couple of managerial moves. Leroy Rossignol has been appointed at AFC Wimbledon, but only after the favourite Marco Silva, which we discussed on a previous episode, was given the Reading job. So unfortunately for Big Sam, he missed out. Him and Marco Silva's career seem to be intrinsically linked these days. It was Silva who got the job. I did attempt to sign one of the female members of staff that we looked at in the episode 39. If you haven't seen that, that was all about using the shortlists of female football staff members in FM20 from the FFM_ on Twitter. Jenna, really helpful. These are all the shortlists. I tried to sign Lucy Rushton, thinking that this would be a good idea, some good stats, certainly for League Two. Went to offer her a contract and got the short shrift, saying that she wasn't interested in entering contract discussions. Fylde not the standard of club she wanted to work for. I was a bit surprised at that, considering she's out of work. But then I had a quick look at some of her previous clubs, where she was at Watford as data analysis, Reading chief data analysis for some 8 years, and then most recently for 3 years as the chief scout at Atlanta United. So probably got a fair point there when she says that we are somewhat beneath her. The other thing, obviously, is that I've been testing out my microphone and seeing what's causing the interference. I can't quite work it out yet, whether it's the microphone itself, USB connection, or a cable plugged in. I've gone back to the old headset for the time being, so you may need to listen to me breathe every now and again, but it's the best thing that we've got at the moment. Today's episode actually is AFC Fylde versus Sutton in the FA Cup first round. Gary Mills is the Sutton manager. We haven't been beaten by them in our previous meetings. We've won 2 and drawn 1. The issue will be, as you can imagine for a cup game, I have heavily rotated. Basically, the only survivors are the likes of Neil Byrne in defence and Scott Duxbury, Tyrone Williams. The rest are all changes, and in fact, there have been a couple of injuries that we have suffered. So I'm just going to put Jack Muldoon on the bench ahead of Tazdemir, because we don't think there are any rules now saying that I've got to use one of our academy graduates. I looked at the players who are unavailable. Not only has Tazdemir picked up that knock, so he's due to return to full training tomorrow. Luke Burke is suspended. So is Alex Whitmore. And Ryan Crowsdale, disappointing this one, suffered an injury. He'll be out for 2 to 4 weeks with a groin strain, which is going to mean that Romario Vieira comes in. Now, I'm never going to play him as a ball-winning midfielder. I think his role is going to be as a defensive midfielder, and in the hope that stops him diving into tackles. Already today, Macclesfield have drawn 0-0 with Bristol Rovers. They will need a replay. No team news for Sutton. Well, we did play them last season, so hopefully that gives us some sort of advantage. In between, at either end of the pitch, we've got Dan Lavercombe in goal, coming in for James Montgomery, and Chris Porter starts up front. Not been getting the games that he probably imagined he would have when he first signed for us, but unfortunately, Jamie Proctor became available, so we really had to go with it. Sutton are matching us up here with a 4-3-3. Jamie Reckford at left back, I think he's a really good player. Kenny McKenna there, not able to motivate one player. Well, unfortunate, isn't it? So we're going to give our normal encourage shout to the boys as we begin, in the hope that this doesn't go really badly and we lose. In fact, I can't decide whether that's worse than drawing or not. If we draw, we'll have to go to a replay, which means another game, and I will have to play the superstars in that one. I say superstars, obviously. That's the filed version of superstars, is our first team, basically. But we're on the front foot with Devon Green and Javan Malcolm. Duxbury with the effort at the back post earns ourselves a corner. Cragen with the ball in, and the Sutton defence managed to make the clearance up to the halfway line. This is what worries me here, is if Sutton go in front, I don't know if we'll come back, given the lack of mental strength and big players in this side. But Devon Green, he moves forward. Tyrone Williams with the cross, back post. Nope, nothing doing from that attack, but it is a shot. It's going to be a tight one, this, isn't it? Every time I bring in our second string, it never goes well. Jameson out to Duxbury, Cragen and Dan Bradley all involved. Williams, Javan Malcolm fires wide. Good chance that as well. But we are on the front foot, which makes me even more nervous than if we were under the pump. Because what normally happens is, of course, we all know, we've all played Football Manager for a number of years. We know exactly what happens in this situation. You spend all half firing shots in left, right and centre, only to be caught out by one attack that your opponents have right at the end of the half, just when you're getting ready to go back into the sheds for a half-time Jaffa cake and an orange. Not that I suspect that is actually still a thing. think I've been watching the damned United a bit too much. Porter over. We have at least got one shot on target now. That's a positive. But the game is not showing us our highlights, which is... I see a lot of... we talked about this before actually. We see a lot of criticism about the match engine on Football Manager. My criticism is that I want to see all my highlights without having to go full comprehensive. So, that actually does that. Sorry, I thought all these red cards here on these red writing on the right were red cards. They're not, they're injuries, most of them. Let's give him a morale boost. Absolutely nothing. Sod all happening in there. I think I'm going to take Porter off. He's on a booking. And I'm going to put Jack Muldoon up there. But I'm going to play him as a deep lying forward. Let's see if that makes any difference whatsoever to our prospects. Jack, obviously, part of the Harrogate team who earned promotion in the playoff final just a few days ago. I'm trying to think when this is recorded and when it's going to be released. Great to see as well. A former Fylde favourite. Did really well for Fylde during the season they spent there before moving over to Harrogate, where he spent 2 seasons. We were lucky to get him in the game. He was available for a very reasonable fee of under 10 grand. And since then, really, never let us down when he's been in the team. Even though he has been, it has to be said, in and out. But because of Matti Kozolo's form, where even the board now are starting to get on his back, chances are he's going to get a few opportunities on the right wing as we really search for the best option for us. Jovan Malcolm, he's done alright, but Devon Green are currently our worst player, which isn't great because I don't really have a direct replacement for him. I could move Muldoon across. In fact, I'm going to bring on Phyllis Kirk, who actually is more suited to that inverted winger role. And of course, I always forget to pause the game while we make a substitution. So the game's going on in the background. Phyllis Kirk and Muldoon on. That does seem like one of those the big teams in the cup competitions that have suddenly realised it's not going all their way with their second string out, despite, it has to be said, us dominating 12 shots to 1. This does feel more like one of our games from last season in the National League, obviously where we did play Sutton. And this is it. This is going to be Sutton's goal. Oh, good save by Dan Lavercombe. See, I don't give you enough credit, do I? Although, just as I say that, they go and score. Of course they do. Why wouldn't you? We do actually need a decent cup run here, you know, lads. I don't know if I've mentioned this. The near post. Not defended properly. Yeah. Carl Jameson may well put his head in his hands. I say Carl Jameson. I think it was him. Look at that. 14 shots to 4. And now all of a sudden, I'm hoping that we do get an equaliser and take it into a replay. It's not what you want, is it? Duxbury's going to cross this in from the left. And Jovan Malcolm gets us back there. Oh, we've equalised. Right, boys. Let's skip this. We're going to encourage them again. Let's see if we can build on that momentum and get back up there. In fact, actually, what I'm going to do is remember to pause the game this time. I'm going to move our boys up the pitch in the hope that that scares Sutton back. The only problem is I don't actually know who will be the best people for these roles. Phyllis Kirk. Bradders. I'm going to move Muldoon out to the wing, and we're going to bring on Jamie Proctor. Change him to our target man. I mean, this does feel like it's going to leave Romario Vieira horribly exposed. But if in doubt, just take a booking, my friend. So we've only got 5 minutes, 4 minutes of time left. So whether that makes a massive difference is open for debate. And there's Romario Vieira with the booking. Predictable, that, wasn't it? Unfortunately, it looks like Sutton are going to be on top here. We could do with recovering the ball, boys. Byrne puts it out for a throw-in, and time is dwindling. This is probably our opportunity gone, isn't it? I mean, have we even created a chance? Probably not, is the answer. Here we go. This is going to be the last highlight of the game. Can we make something of it? No, we can't. It's full time, and that means I'm going to have to bring out the big guns in the replay, which will be at Gander Green Lane. Yeah, it was disappointing, wasn't it? No, that is frustrating. Luckily for us, of course, our next game is against Macclesfield, and that's one that I'm really not that bothered about. It's a dead rubber in the leasing.com trophy. We're already out. We can't go through following 2 losses already. So don't worry about it. Yeah. Equalising goal. Has it been added to our schedule yet? Yeah, there it is. Wednesday the 18th of November. Right, okay. I'm going to make an executive decision here. And that we're going to cover that in our next game. And as you'll see, all the top players will be back for it. So, disappointing for today. We have drawn in the FA Cup first round. Jovan Malcolm with the goal, really sort of reminding me that he probably should be the man to come in to replace Matty Kozolo on the right wing. Will Randall had put Sutton ahead. Okay, so pause. We're going to return back in episode 41. That'll be on Wednesday when we will play this FA Cup replay in the hope that we'll get through. We'll also have the draw for the next round, because when is that made? The draw will be on the 9th, so 2 days time we will find out who we've got in the second round. Let's hope it's another home game and I don't get tempted to rest everybody, because as we've seen, that just doesn't work. We're not a big enough team that can survive. Thank you for joining me for today. Apologies that it's not been brilliant. We do have a draw in the FA Cup, and that also means we'll be part of the second round draw. See you in episode 41.